So testosterone levels are dropping. We know that from several studies. They're on average significantly lower today in young men as compared to, several generations ago, 2, 3 generations. And it is real. It's not like an artifactual thing. It's a real finding.
Really? Is this?
But the question is, why is it happening?
Yeah. Why?
And the superficial answer to that is because we have a greater incidence of metabolic disease, metabolic syndrome. People are fat as fuck. Okay. So because we have these little miniature hot air balloons running around everywhere, something like 30, 40% of people, they, what that does is you have obesity creating low grade chronic inflammation that causes high blood pressure. It causes your cholesterol to be fucked up, causes your testes to produce less testosterone, and interferes with your brain's production of all the upstream hormones, and interferes with the activity of the testosterone you do produce, and interferes with the androgen receptors, both intra and extracellularly. So, metabolic syndrome is the main reason why testosterone levels are much lower. But that begs the question, what's causing the metabolic syndrome? And the classic answer you get from people like Casey Means and all these people writing books about, oh, we're killing ourselves even as we live, and talking about the fact that 20%, maybe even 25% of children today are obese, whereas it was less than 1% 100 years ago. They are all blaming food dyes, endocrine disrupting chemicals, Fruit Loops, stuff in the food supply, basically. It's easy calories. That's what they're blaming. And certainly those things, or seed oils is another popular thing.
Seed
So,
oils.
so all those things are contributing to metabolic disease, but is food and easy calories, is that the main driver of metabolic syndrome? The answer is it probably is not. Probably what it's looking like is that the main driver of metabolic syndrome is light, artificial light, number one, and lack of sunlight. Okay, so because we're indoor creatures, we get hardly any sunlight. All of our hormones, especially the pituitary hormones, are secreted in response to light signals. So we're meant to release certain hormones at certain times of the day based on the frequencies of light that our eyes take in from the sun. So there's different color frequencies at different times of day.
Okay, can we get
So
type of light from a light that we can order on the internet?
no,
Okay,
no,
it's not
no,
possible.
no. So
Nothing can replace the sunlight.
what people do is they wake up and the first light that they see is a blue lit microwave device called an iPhone, with a color temperature of 16,000, and it's like very blue spectrum. Well, you're supposed to get blue wavelength light in the morning, but you're also supposed to get it with infrared and red light and some other frequencies too. You're not supposed to get very high concentrations of unopposed blue light. And when you do that chronically, which everybody does, even babies do because they sleep in cribs and someone turns on a fucking LED light, or even maybe even worse, a fluorescent light in their room, and that's the first light that they're exposed to. So what we're constantly telling our brains is that it's solar noon, when we live these indoor lifestyles and we get very little sunlight and we get very little UV light as well. That's another part of the story.
Very
And
sedentary.
so it's the early age exposure to artificial light and especially the lack of sunlight and early morning sunlight that I believe triggers a cascade of hormonal and epigenetic changes. That's a whole story in and of itself, that I think predisposes people to obesity and metabolic syndrome, and all of the food and seed oils and all that other shit. The reason why those things are a problem is only after someone has become hormonally dysregulated. I think that's ultimately the problem. And I think that's why obesity is so difficult to solve. And I think that's why it's getting worse because our light environment just gets worse and worse.